on this day of pure pleasure was tacos salseados. Some of the locals call it La Ermita because it's on Ermita Street. Now think gourmet tacos if you can wrap your head around that concept. There's cool ingredients, unusual salsas, and some novel preparations. Okay, you guys love this place, right?
Yes.
Okay. Why? Why do you love it? What should we order? You got to tell us about it. Because Sergio and I need some advice. It's his first time, it's my second time.
I like the quesataco.
You have to explain, what is a quesataco?
Quesataco is, for example, shrimps or truth.
But what's the cheese?
The cheese is like a chicharrón.
Crispy? It's crispy, like they put the cheese itself on the griddle, and then when it gets crispy, they fold it like a taco?
Yes.
I like this. That's beautiful. That's really beautiful and very different than anything we've seen today. That's a mouthful. I'm not sure I can do all of this. You're right. It's like gourmet tacos.
It's like gourmet tacos.
And really good ones. Really good ones. It's not just fancy to be fancy. It's really tasty.
You have to try it. So good.
Can I have one?
Definitely. It's so good.
We're eating your taco down here.
Con permiso.
I should have ordered that one.
It's really good.
That's
really
well,
good.
This is good, but who would have thought smoked salmon tacos wrapped in crispy cheese?
With mushrooms.
After you get your hip tacos, there's an interesting collection of salsas to spoon on. Flavors like tamarind, chile piquin, and almond. A little more chile piquin, a little bit more tamarind. I'm happy. Oh no, the last one I'm going to do a little almond sauce.
That's what?
Almond.
Almond.
Yeah, okay, here it is. Salud. I have nothing to salute with except a taco. A little piece of taco. All right.
Now, my favorite tacos in all of Mexico are ones from Mazateños in Tijuana.
And you know what? They have this amazing salsa that they serve with it. It's really easy to make, but it's remarkably delicious. It's an avocado salsa that has a little bit of peanut, I think, ground into it. At least that's the way that we're going to make our version of it here. So we're going to start with that salsa. And let me see, I need to cut open a lime for you to squeeze into the blender there. I'm going to put some cilantro in with the lime juice. I'm going to put in a couple of serrano chilies.
And our secret ingredient here, peanuts.
Serrano's in. And now avocado. 2 sides apart. Avocado into the blender. You need to add in salt. And you want to put that on the blender and blend it to a smooth puree. Let's taste it. Oh, thank you very much. You'd never think that that combination of peanuts and avocado would be so utterly delicious, like a match made in heaven. But in this salsa, to me, they really, really are. Okay, so the famous Mazateño tacos are chilied shrimp tacos. And the first thing I'm going to do to make them, or my version of them, is to chop up some shrimp.
And I'm going to toast the arbol chilies.
And I'm going to chop up some garlic to add some flavor to it.
And I'm going to gather all the herbs, spices, and grate the cheese that goes on top of each one. Now, to make the filling for these shrimp tacos, you need to start with some butter that we're gonna melt into the same pan that we toasted the chilies in.
And now I'm going to scoop up all the chopped garlic and add that to the pan with the melted butter.
Now that that's done, we're gonna add a little bit of pepper to this.
And I'm going to get some oregano to crumble in there. And some chicken broth. We're going to need 2/3 of a cup to add to this. You got your chilies to get in there as well?
Yes.
Now we're going to turn the temperature up to about medium-high because this is going to need to simmer briskly for about 7 or 8 minutes until it reduces to just a couple of tablespoons of broth. When you hear it sizzle like that, you know that most of the broth has reduced. Put the shrimp in it. Stir it. It'll only take about 3 minutes or so for those shrimp to cook over that medium-high heat. This is one taco that before I get it to my mouth starts watering so much because I love this taco. When you're talking about steak tacos, the first question that everybody wants to have answered is what's the perfect cut to use for your steak tacos? Well, of course, skirt steak comes to mind, but it's certainly not the only cut that you can use. In fact, I've got 6 different cuts in front of me, all of which would make really good steak tacos. Well, let's start with the skirt steak since that's so popular. What a lot of people don't know is that there are 2 skirt steaks on each side of the carcass. One that they call the inner skirt steak, which is thicker and, well, a little tougher. And then one that they call the outer skirt steak that's thinner and tenderer. Flank steak, another very popular choice for making steak tacos. We've got 2 over here, tri-tip and sirloin tip, both that come from the sirloin section of the animal. And then we've got 2 lesser known cuts. We've got the flat iron and the top blade, both of which come from the chuck. Now, when it comes to marinades in Mexico, they tend to stay fairly simple and fairly light and not long time marinades. So I'm going to make one that's going to combine some limes with a little bit of Worcestershire and some Mexican oregano, a little salt and pepper, very simple. To make the marinade, start by juicing 2 limes. Then peel and chop 4 roasted garlic cloves. Add black pepper, salt, and Mexican oregano. Now, the last ingredient that's going to go in here is Worcestershire sauce. Now, in Baja California, where carne asada tacos reign supreme, a lot of the cooks use soy sauce, so you could feel free to follow their lead. I think it has such a distinctive flavor that I like to replace it with Worcestershire sauce, or what almost every Mexican kitchen has, which is jugo maggi. I'm going to choose the skirt steaks to marinate, the flank steak, and then I think I'll use the top blade and the flat iron as well. Take our light marinade, drizzle that over the top. Make sure that they're coated nicely both sides and let them sit for about 20 or 30 minutes. That's all this is going to need. This isn't a marinade for tenderizing. This is a marinade for flavoring. Now, my guess is that a lot of you cook on gas grills, but you're a little frustrated because you'd like to get some of that flavor of wood grilling into your food. So what do? Well, my recommendation is Well, you could buy these wood chunks like that, or maybe even collect fallen branches in the yard and then break them into smaller pieces that you could lay directly over your gas flame. Now, this particular grill has a drawer that's right above those gas burners, and I could just throw these little branch pieces and some of the large chunks in there. Right away, those will ignite and they'll start to smell like a wood fire. Now, another alternative, which might appeal to some of you, is to buy the little wood chips and put them into a little smoker box. These things are very inexpensive, and then just lay that directly over the gas flames. It'll ignite just right away, and I think that'll give you what you're looking for. I can smell the fire starting to catch right now, so I think I'm just about ready to grill. You know what makes these so good is that charred grilled flavor that you get in the exterior of the jalapeno. So you cut the stem of each one off and then just scrape out the seed pod and the seeds. You don't have to be too meticulous. This is a pretty rustic dish. And then cut the jalapeno into about 1/4 inch pieces there. Then they're ready to dress with lime and salt. Welcome everybody. Cheers. Cheers. Everybody ready for some steak tacos?
It's called How Brave Are You? No, it's called We Should Do This. We're not a shy group.
This one goes to you. We have all different kinds of condiments to go on it. But you know, really the coolest thing about going to a taqueria is that every bite you can kind of customize, and no matter how simple the food is, you can always put on salsas, and well, of course you can always squeeze on limes, and the onions and cilantro are an ever-present part of building good tacos, I think, in Mexico.
Yeah.
What's fun about sharing it with a lot of people? Everybody gets their own special bite.